Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of the Hashtag Academy. It's the penultimate episode of Series 3 today, the semi-finals if you like, because by the end of this video, we will know who our finalists are for both our men and women's competition. For the men, we have our final four being interviewed, being asked the tough questions so we can learn more about them, and ultimately Devs and Joe can whittle that number down to our final two. For the women, we have our remaining players playing alongside our women's first team in a tough friendly against a team from the level above to see if they can cut the mustard. We'll also be taking that down to just 2 women players. But before we crack on with the episode, I've got to say a massive thanks to our sponsors, UCFB, the University Campus of Football Business, the place to go to get a football education. Check out the links in the description if you think it could be for you. Let's start things off by going back to the footy lab to see how the men get on in their interviews.
Johnny, how are you, mate?
I'm good.
Jake, how are you?
I'm good, mate.
Hello, Reece, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hello, Matt, how are you?
I'm alright, yourself?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Congratulations getting this far. How have you found the process?
I found it brilliant, to be honest. The last episode particularly, with the challenges, that was probably my favourite one so far. And also playing against the first team to see what the level they've got set for us.
Coming back from injury, haven't played football much. So playing football, whether it's been in group games, little challenges, it's been quite fun.
I've really enjoyed it, to be fair. Like, especially the 11-a-side games, because that's what I play, obviously. I've enjoyed all of them, done a variety of positions, enjoyed that. And then I've made quite a few friends as well.
It's been a good experience, first time ever doing something like this. Bit out of the comfort zone with all the cameras and such. Mainly the interviews, because I'm used to playing in front of the cameras.
Where are you used to playing in front of the cameras? Just in
Ipswich, we got recorded, all of our games. And then I was at Sudbury, most of our games got recorded there.
has there been any part of the process you haven't found so enjoyable or more of a challenge?
The one game that we did lose, like, it wasn't just a loss, like we sort of got run over. That was it, but all in all, I've enjoyed the process. There's not been one moment I've very much disliked.
There was pressure to have an impact. So like when I missed a penalty, I felt like maybe I could go out. I felt like I needed to do something to redeem myself.
What made you enter the competition?
I've been a big fan of Hashtag for a long time. I've been watching Hashtag for a while, since they started the Sunday League team. I did apply to the other two, didn't quite get through.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So I applied this time, I saw the video and I applied this time. I see it and it looks like something I want to do, and I feel like playing for Hashtag would help me push on in my career and help reach my dreams and goals that I have.
Tell us a little bit about you and your career. What's your kind of footballing story?
Youth football, typical grassroots. Started at Ryan FC. A few clubs have liked me, so like Tottenham, QPR. I've been asked to go for trials. Been unsuccessful in all of them actually, yeah, obviously. But
What, at the trials?
at the trials, yeah.
Why do you think that was?
I feel like my confidence was a thing that held me back.
I think, obviously, you know, I've tried to get into it a couple of years back, and obviously I wasn't ready at that point, and I've gone away, worked on how I play as a player, my confidence, playing some first team football, and then I just feel like I've developed more as a player, and I feel like I'm more ready than I was back then.
Football ever since I can remember, and then played mainly in and around Colchester up until about 14, where I got scouted by Ipswich, done a 6-week trial there in the summer, got signed on, and then spent there for 2 years up until under 16s around Christmas time, released me.
Basically been playing football since I can remember, really. Like, my dad used to take me out, play football, and then I remember in primary school, one coach came in and he said that there was a training session near a field at my house, like near my house. I went to that one training session, and from then on I fell in love with football.
So far in your career, what's been your biggest achievement?
Moving abroad last year, which was hard for me because I had to leave everything behind. I had to leave friends, family behind. I gave up like uni. I gave up a good spot at uni to move abroad to a place that I'd never been to. Like, I went to Albania first and then I moved to Kosovo, which I'd never been to. Didn't know anyone there, but I embraced it, and luckily for me, I earned my spot there. I earned my spot in the team, and then the coronavirus had entered the country and they suspended the league, so I had to fly back.
I feel like I haven't really achieved anything yet. I feel like everything's in the future for me. I feel like I have a lot to achieve, and yeah, the sky's the limit.
Probably getting signed by Ipswich getting the recognition that I thought I deserved, and the graft paid off.
This one isn't bad coming into this point in the competition. Out of the amount of people that have entered it, I'm quite proud of that one.
And your biggest disappointment or failure?
Not quite making it at a certain point, but then also I can then go back in the future and try again. I don't just give up there.
So define not quite making it, and at what point?
I would say, like for the last time that I tried for hashtag, obviously I didn't quite make it to the point where I would have liked to have done so. And then when I was younger, in terms of football academies, maybe I wouldn't do so well, and then I'll go back and then try and get to that point if I don't make it in the first place.
More of a setback injury I had. And
Tell me a bit about that.
it was a 50-50 somewhere up in Suffolk somewhere. Nice little clatter on the knee ligaments, nice and bruised. It set me right back at the start of the under-18 season.
Not getting into my trials, it's a big burner. As you get older, you feel like only if I done this, if I done that, if I worked harder, then like it hurts.
What did you take from that? What was your learning from that kind of experience?
Just to be honest with yourself, be true to yourself.
What did you learn from that experience?
Just mental side of it, from injuries. That football's tough, because I've always been a starter in most squads I've gone to. So I've always had that comfortability knowing I'm one of the first on the team sheet. But obviously trying to fight your way back in, that was quite new to me.
How would you respond if in a scenario where you weren't the winner, but you were offered the chance to still play for the football club? What would your response to that be?
I mean, any opportunity to play for hashtag, I think I would take the opportunity, yeah, even if I didn't win it.
I think I'm still good enough to come and like do something with the team. So if I got offered the chance to come back anyway without that prize, I think I'd still take it, because it's something I wanted to do anyway. I think this opportunity is one that won't come around again if I didn't take it now.
I'll definitely consider it.
And when you say consider, what do you mean by?
As in, we're going into pre-season. There will be a few teams looking for players. This is something that you would consider, like you would take into consideration when making your decision to pick the team you're going to play for. But when I say consider, I don't mean like just think about it. It's definitely something you definitely be thinking about properly, considering. Like hashtag, yeah.
Would not winning affect your feelings around that?
Not at all. The only thing I feel like the winning gives you is the contract and the money, because whoever wins it might not start as much as someone who might not.
How would you react to comments being made about you on YouTube? What would your approach be to that? For example, with maybe you've not had a particularly good game, and sometimes the comments can get quite brutal and sometimes, slightly unfair. What would your approach be?
Comments that people make about me, or people like that have said stuff about me, I'm not overly fussed, because I'm my own harshest critic. I'll know if I've had a bad game or if I've done something wrong. So I'll be the first person to get onto myself.
See, with things like comments, I read it, but I never take them in. So even the last, I think the episode before the last, I was reading the comments and they were giving me quite a lot of praise. But it's the same way I look at the ones where they were having negative towards me, and then the positive, I kind of just don't look at either of them. I just read them. They're just comments that people view, and they're gonna have an opinion. Everyone has an opinion, so you can't really look into it too much. You just gotta get on with it at the end of the day.
I'm used to quite a lot of stick behind the scenes and stuff from a young age, because I set myself high expectations, and a lot of the coaches and players do for me as well, because they see my ability in that. But some games, obviously, you're not 100% every game, and they let you know. Tough words, but criticism.
Let me give you another scenario, and we're leaving the pitch as a team, the squad. You're playing for us, and we've had a really bad performance, and I'm not happy. And I tell you, everyone into the changing room now, and on the way in, you get stopped by a young fan with his or her parent, and they want a picture done with you, like a selfie, photograph, signature, things like that. What would you say?
You'd have to apologise, because obviously the performance you're obviously unhappy with, I guess. So that's got to take priority, and you've got to tell them, they've got to understand that, and then hopefully after, you might see them in the car park, or you told them to wait after the game, and then you'll be happy to sign it then.
I wouldn't say yes. I'd talk to him and say, I'll come see you maybe after the game, after I leave the change room, because at that moment in time, it wouldn't be the right decision to stop and take a selfie, because obviously if there's been a bad game, like I wouldn't take a picture anyway. If I've had a bad game, I want to get straight inside anyway. But it wouldn't be the right decision to go smiling on camera after I've just lost and the gaffer's screaming and getting annoyed. I wouldn't do that, no.
Just ignore it and walk past.
That's what you would do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think in that scenario, you've got to tell them it's not the right moment to be doing something like that. You've got to deal with the consequences. If you've had a bad performance, you've got to deal with what needs to be said. And then if they're still there when you come out of the changing room, then yeah, you can give out autographs or whatever.
Okay, so that's just some of those juicy interviews Devs is doing with our final 4 men. We'll pick them up later in the episode. For now though, we're going to jump over to the women's side of things and see how they get on playing alongside our first team.
So welcome back to the women's side of the academy. It's getting very intense right now. We have 3 remaining players. Emma Sandways, Elena Finneran and Macy Windsor. So you may be expecting a few more players, but unfortunately due to other commitments, some players have had to pull out. But it just means it's going to be a better opportunity for the remaining 3. So the girls today are going to be going up against Chichester and Chelsea. It's enough to pronounce, but these girls are actually playing a step above. They played MK Dons last week and drew. We played them 2 weeks earlier and drew as well. So it's going to be a tough test. So you may be thinking, LP, you've missed the game. No, don't worry. That is the hashtag women's development team going up against their development team. So whilst we've got a bit of time, just going to have a chat with the girls. Emma, how does it feel to get this far?
It feels good. Yeah, I'm excited for today. Bit nervous, but going to try and embrace it as excitement and just play as best as I can, work with the team. And I'm excited to play with the first team actually, to see how they play and hopefully look forward to next season if I get that far.
I actually didn't think I would, because I'm obviously like with my shin splints as well. I had to come off on the first bit, but I'm really happy that I have, but I didn't expect it, no.
Well, I always like to be confident in my own ability, so I would hope so, but I am still shocked that I did get this far and I'm really happy about it.
And what are you going to do differently this week?
Well, obviously playing with the first team is obviously going to be a bigger challenge, so I'm just going to obviously play how I usually play, with better effort, playing as well as I can really.
More of the same things really. I just want to work hard and show my teammates if I lose the ball I'll win it back. I'm determined and I'm going to really work hard on communication so I get to know the team and just do what I can, give as much effort as possible.
I think actually just be myself, nothing different to how I normally am. Be myself, go out, be confident, try and be as positive as I can throughout the game, support my other teammates and hope for the best.
And you've travelled quite a way to get here, right?
Yeah, travelled home 6 hours, 2 hours here, but my family are supporting, so hoping to do them proud as well.
Some would say being a defender is quite hard to stand out in a trial process. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely, because you're not the one scoring the goals. You just got to get the basics right, and sometimes it's hard to stand out doing that, I think.
Jace, it's going to be a tough test today, but what are we expecting from the academy girls?
Oh, mate, first of all, I want them to just enjoy it. Okay, we don't want to put pressure on them. I know inadvertently there will be pressure on them, and I know they're feeling it. I'm speaking to them early doors, but I just want them to enjoy it and try and play their game. So from my point of view, I'm just expecting them to go out there, express what they've got, what they've shown us so far in the Academy series, and just show that they can join in with the current groups there and just get on and show what they, show the skills. I've got no real expectations. Obviously, there's game expectations and management and stuff like that, but in terms of any additional expectations, I haven't got them. I just want them to be themselves.
Steph, how are the academy girls getting on?
They're all doing really well at the moment. None of them have done anything wrong at the moment. You've got Elle at the back, who's really, really strong, playing really well with Grace, so you've got a good partnership there. You've got Samwise, who's literally running the length of the pitch. He is doing absolute doggies at the minute, but doing really well, making those plays, passing it out to the wings well, where Macy is. She's basically getting fouled because she's so bloody quick. Yeah, doing really well on the wing. So no, nothing. They've not done anything wrong so far. Doing really well.
honest, I'm actually very pleased at that half. We've got 3 new faces to the team that haven't trained with us, they haven't done anything with us. They've had to fit in, and we bossed the possession of that probably 75-25.
Sean, what a goal, mate.
Quality, you know, I think she's going to claim it as a shot. I think we'll let her have it because took it really well, into the wind, fantastic finish. Yeah, really good from Macy.
And obviously, we've got a bit of a tougher decision to make.
Yeah, I knew it would always be like this. I think the main thing today is that all 3 of them have shown they can play at this level without any shadow of a doubt at all. So, going to be some really tough decisions after the game, really tough.
Hard decision today, guys. You know, we looked at 3 players there that come in. They all, for me, no training, no nothing, no understanding, and they've all produced good performances in their own right. We've now got to narrow it down to 2, and just to make it clear, we've had no consultation about this. So this is literally your own decisions coming off the way you've interpreted those performances.
All their performances were of a high level, and I thought all 3 of them fitted in nicely into the team. So it is really difficult. We've had a few conversations since we left the pitch, and I think all of us find it a little bit difficult to try and pick out those 2.
They all played well. I think in the first half, Macy was the quieter of the 3, but in the second half, she was probably the liveliest of the 3. But as we've all said, all 3 of them, it could be any of them.
I don't think out of the 3 of them that there wasn't much in it at all in terms of mistakes. They were all spot on. They left everything on the pitch.
Yeah, guys. Well, again, I know it was tough, but thanks very much for your insights on this. Now we've got the dreaded bit of telling them. So here we go. Ladies, thank you very much for coming down today. I hope you've enjoyed being a part of this Academy series. We've loved having you with us, and hopefully you'll all be part of the club going forward. Today's game, wow, what a choice, and how difficult you have made it for us. And genuinely, you've made a real difficult choice. So I can only put 2 through, and the first person we're putting through is Emma. And the second person we're putting through, Ellie. I'd just like to say, Macy, fantastic, great job. I'm looking forward to having you with us.
Well, there you go. We have our 2 women finalists. Well done to Emma Samways and Ellie Finneran. And also special mention to Macy Windsor as well. Terrific young player. Cannot wait to see who wins in the women's series in the final coming up next episode. But for now, we're going to rejoin the men's interviews and figure out who is going to be our final 2.
Just want to talk a little bit about your application. You talk about an opportunity to move to Everton, I think, when you were younger, and that you weren't, I think, only 14, 15. Yeah. You weren't ready to move up, you say, which I think is quite understandable, but you regret it.
I mean, I couldn't really move at that point in my life. It would be a big thing to do, especially at that age. But obviously now at this age, I do wish I did, but at the time it wasn't sensible.
You describe yourself as very adaptable and a bit of I think you called yourself a Swiss Army knife. Give me a little bit more. What do you mean by that?
At the start of the season, I went to Woodford Town, and I went there as a CDM to start off with. But naturally, I'm a number 8. I like to go forwards, and I do the defensive job as well. But I went there, and I started playing in the CDM role with two people in front of me, and I felt like I adapted to that role quite well. We come up against Hashtag in October, and the manager asked me, he's like, I'm going to put you centre back, and so I ended up playing centre back. I've done it a few times, but I thought I had a really good game. at centre back. I've done my job, so I'm able to play in a variety of different positions, which I think is very useful at this level.
You talk about not enjoying the environment at a couple of places you've played.
It's mainly towards Ipswich,
Right.
because obviously it's a very, not individual based, but everyone's there for the same reason, which is scholarship to push on. And of course it's very individual, they're going for their thing, and the environment's just not enjoyable.
One of the things that come out quite a bit in interviews, you talk about needing more belief in yourself. What's affected your belief? What stops you from having belief in yourself?
I'm very hard on myself. When I play a game, I always want to do the best. I always want to play the best. I feel like I could do more things in the game. So, but
like what?
Driving more, shooting more. Like in the trials, I don't think I really had shots. To be honest, I don't think the last time you remember me shooting, I haven't really shot.
Talk a little bit about your career, because you say at 16, 17, you were involved in senior football. What level were you playing at of senior football?
I was playing at step 5, so I was playing with Hassocks, and I worked my way through the age groups. So I was playing under 18 football, then 23s, and then I managed to get a look in at first team football, which was a great experience for me. But it's more the fact of that super sub, that quick player to come off the bench to make an impact. And then as time went on, I thought to myself, I want to be that player that's playing 90 every week.
So you spoke about playing abroad and ambitions to go professionally. Yeah. And you speak about that being your best chance of playing professional football, going abroad. Yeah. How do you see this opportunity either supporting that or hindering it?
I think one massive thing which is needed for someone who wants to go abroad is footage, because they can't come in and see you play football. They just need to take people's word on it, which isn't really like the best way to go about things. And I think with the following that hashtag have, with the setup that they do have, they allow me to get that footage that I'd need to then send it around to clubs, like to different clubs around different countries. And
so do you have no ambitions to play professionally in this country?
I do, but the level of competition that is here, there are so many teams and so many players as compared to abroad, where there's maybe 2 professional leagues, and then below that it's kind of just amateur football. People don't really take football as seriously as they take non-league here. So I feel like me going abroad and playing professionally in a country there, and getting the experience of playing professionally, training 4 or 5 times a week, would allow me to then come play here professionally. But it'd be a bit more difficult if I was in non-league to go straight to professional and then work my way in. So I think, yeah, going abroad and coming back would be.
So do you not think that we could offer that?
Yeah, no, I think you could. There's nothing that wouldn't stop hashtag helping me from moving up higher here.
It says here that managers in the past have said you need to be more consistent. More consistent in the things that you spoke about, or there are other elements to your game you think you need to be more consistent?
My attitude's always on point. I don't feel like it's consistency in that. It's probably more of the things I said before, touching on things before. If I'm consistent in those things, then yeah, I think there's no, what else could you want really?
What are your ambitions as a footballer?
Play as high as I can.
Where is that?
Well, I set myself like targets in the next few years. So the next 4 or 5 years, at least step 3 minimum.
Okay, and where's the highest you think you can play?
Step 1, League 2, around there.
Yeah. Do you believe that you can make it as a professional footballer? So then you dropped down to get regular football. Yeah. And how did you find that? And did you get that guaranteed regular football?
Yeah. It worked out with my boss to drop down a couple of leagues, help him move up the ranks. That was the idea, because they started playing league football.
What kind of level? Can you say a couple?
So it was step 7 we started at, and then obviously we're trying to work our way up, but we didn't quite get promotion this year, which was a bit unlucky.
Some would suggest that maybe showed a lack of patience or ambition. How would you counter-argue that?
I mean, you could look at in that way, or you could look at the way that I've developed as a player and I've built my confidence, because I've been one of the older players in a first team environment which is quite rare, being 21, being one of the old players in the team.
So do you just see us as a stepping stone?
I don't want to say yes, but because I've been a massive fan of hashtag throughout the whole thing, and it's not a thing of me coming here just to get some game time and then go away. I want to join because I feel like I can help hashtag achieve what they want to achieve as well.
You have played a number of positions already in the process, and you've shown kind of a variety of positions in terms of your experience as well. Where do you think is your best position?
As a right back, I'd say, especially with men's football, because obviously as a centre half, young, because I played pre-season with Sudbury. I think it was when I was going into under-18s football. There was a striker, I can't remember what team, but the striker taught me a lesson that day.
What did you take away from that? Give me an example of something you might have changed about your game as a result of that.
I was trying to win the ball too tight, and obviously he was quite a big boy, so he knew what he was doing, body well, players off him, spinning, little round the corners and all that.
You touched upon earlier about being, playing the number 10 role. Is that where you feel it's your best position? I know you haven't played in that position a huge amount during the trial process, but
it's a bit of both. I feel like sometimes I'm more effective on the wing, which is why I've been playing on the wing more recently. It's a bit of a mix. I can play either one, but I guess it's down to the gaffer what one they put me. I don't really mind either one. I feel comfortable either, really. It's got to that point where I feel as comfortable as in the 10 as I do wide. So
you're not exactly local to us, are you? So how would you overcome the challenge of travelling, 3 times a week minimum to play your football?
I'm willing to move. If I do manage to make the team, I'm willing to move. Not necessarily win the whole competition, but if you're looking to be using me for hashtag, then I'm willing to move because I feel that's the next stage in my life.
So, okay, so that's a big statement to make. So just to explore that a little, how would that be possible for you? How would you make that work?
I would look for a new job in a different venue, maybe coaching. Look for because currently I'm a football coach.
Let's give you the worst scenario ever in terms of getting a job, which means you've got to stay where you are in terms of where you live.
Yep.
What would you then do?
I'll still travel up.
You see yourself as a bit of a leader. The fact that you captained the previous club at quite a young age kind of leans itself to that. But what makes you a good leader? What qualities do you have that make you a good leader?
I think I'm good at communicating. I'm quite vocal during the game, and throughout the process as well. When I turn up, I didn't know anyone there. I brought everyone together, run a warm up and when we was looking around, no one else was really doing a warm up. Everyone was just sort of standing around, and we was the only ones doing one. So I think me being quite vocal and quite commanding gives me the qualities of a good leader.
Okay. It is that time. Anything in the interviews come up as alarm bells? I mean, I'll start. I think Reece's interview towards the end there, I respect massively the fact that he's keeping his options open. I think, if I was his brother or his dad watching that, I'd be proud of him. But we've got him against 3 other boys who seem probably, I would say, more keen to play for us if they weren't to win.
I don't know if he was just trying to find a different way of saying it. But I agree, it didn't come across great.
Joe, did you see anything in any of the interviews that you liked a lot?
There was a couple of things I didn't like. There was one with Matt that, again, it wasn't a question to trip him up, but how the interaction with the fans. He didn't respond to that. How, especially if you win this and you're the face of hashtag, you have to behave in a certain way.
I'm a big Matthew Waldridge fan. I think he's a really strong player. I really like his versatility. I think he was right to highlight that.
Throughout the whole thing, I think Matt's got stronger and stronger and has probably been the surprise package for
I'll go with that.
And in the last episode where they've done the challenges, he wins that as well.
Well, we haven't talked about Yoni, and his interview is interesting because I think he's very clearly got a goal in mind of what he wants to do. I respect that honesty in him, and He seems to, unlike I'd say maybe a little bit less than what Reece said, he's sort of said, you know, even if he didn't win, if he got the opportunity to play for this club, he'd love to. Even though it sounds like he might be only looking to give it as little as a year, he will give it that year.
I think the other interesting thing about Yoni was the fact that he wasn't in the last process, but he actually applied for the last two.
Yeah.
Now that, you know, just shows that the volume of applications we get that we can't, there are guys that we miss.
Yeah.
And I think it says a lot about his character as well, for a third time to apply. Very consistent. I think comfortable at the level, maybe hasn't had the standout moments that a couple of the others have had, but that's not always, you know, that's not always what we're looking for.
Then I look at someone like Jake Lindsay, who's been in the process before. What a great story it is that he wasn't quite ready. He came back. The fact that he wants to, he's talking about relocating, you know, whether that ends up happening or not, he's saying all the right things, is he not?
And he's been outstanding in the process as well. It's not just he's saying the right things and he's a fan. He's been really good at every stage of that. He's caught the eye in every round.
I think I would have liked a little bit more from him in some of his answers. Yeah. I felt like some of them were a little what he thought we wanted to hear, rather than, you know, I think he could have afforded to have been honest. Honest is the wrong word, but more open, I think, with his answers, and give us more depth.
One thing I'll say is I did get the impression definitely from Matt and Yoni they both would sign without being winner. You know, so we've got to also, if we take that as the truth, then we've got to also think about who deserves the prize the most, who needs the prize the most. Maybe
all three of those guys have said that, haven't they?
It's true that all three said it. Yeah, it's tough. Okay, boys, this is the tough bit, the really tough bit. All the tough bits leading up to now have led to this point. In fact, after this point, I actually get to wash my hands of the decision-making process in any way, shape or form, because two of you will be in a final and then it's all eyes on devs to choose the winner. So this is the last time I have to do any of this. I don't enjoy it. You've all been fantastic. Every single one of you. You've done yourselves so much credit. I can't stress that enough. And I know that the gaffer wants to speak to you as well, regardless of what happens here. What we're doing now is obviously getting to the business end of finding two finalists and then a winner. So we have to do this process as much as we hate it. Again, this is a game of opinions. Doesn't mean we're right, and it doesn't mean, you know, we hope to see more of you regardless. But if it is the end of your journey for any reason at this football club, it doesn't mean we don't think you can't go on and do fantastic things. It's just this process. That being said, the two finalists that are going to be going head to head to win Series 3 of the Hashtag Academy are Jake Lindsay, well done. We'll give him a clap. And going up against you, Jake, will be Yoni Vukac. Congratulations. Incredibly tough decision, Matt and Reece. You've done so well. On another day, you two could have been the finalists and you two might have missed out. This is the way it's happened, so well done to you two, you've done fantastic, but I really want to stress how impressed we've been with both of you, and of course we'll keep talking to you about the future as well. But a round of applause to all four of you, well done, well done.
Jake Lindsay, congratulations, you're through to the final. How does it feel?
Absolutely buzzing, to be honest with you. Great experience, loved every minute of it, to be honest, and I'm just buzzing for the final.
And what do you feel like you've done personally to get yourself here?
I feel like when I've had the opportunities, especially in the 1v1s, taking people on, scoring goals, I feel like I've taken my chances, which I needed to do that.
I'm really happy, man. It was tough. The competition this year has been top level, and fair play to the boys who didn't get through. They done really well, but I'm really happy to get through, yeah.
And in regards to getting through, what do you feel like you've done to get to the final?
I think I've been quite consistent throughout the process, which is one of the biggest things to do, because some players were good, very good on one day and then not so good the other day, but I think I've been quite consistent throughout the process.
Do you feel like you're going to do over Jake Lindsay in the final?
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
So there you have it. We have our two finalists. The two J's will go head to head. Yoni versus Jake. Who will win? What do you think of Dev's and Co's decision? Let us know in the comments below. I know some of you will have some strong opinions about this one. Cannot wait to see them go against each other in the final, where they're going to have to make a team, manage a team, captain a team, play in the team. It's going to be fantastic. Drop a like on the video if you're enjoying the series. Subscribe for more. If you want to be a double decent legend, you can become a member, right? Support the club by becoming a member. Click that join button. Click the link in the description if you can't see the join button. And that means you will see the final before anyone else. Not just when you see it before anyone else, you'll see the full 90-minute game. How is that for an incentive? Guys, I look forward to the final. I'll see you there. Until next time, don't forget to hashtag it.